Every great journey begins with a single step. And at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, that step is met with warmth, guidance, and possibility. Here, learning goes beyond the books. It is where future healthcare heroes are nurtured by passionate instructors who believe in their potential. From theory to practical, our healthcare assistant students gain real-world skills in a real healthcare setting, preparing to serve, support, and make a difference from day one. Because at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, we don't just teach healthcare. We empower excellence. Admissions are now open for our May and June intakes. Step into your future today. Find us at Blessed House, 5th floor, opposite Garden City Mall. JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, empowering excellent healthcare.
At JCK Hospital, we understand that a child's smile is priceless. That's why our dental services are tailored with care and compassion to ensure your little ones have the best experience possible. From gentle checkups to specialized treatments, our pediatric dental experts create a safe and friendly environment, making every visit fun and stress-free. Because we believe healthy habits start young. And for the grown-ups, we've got you covered too, with top-notch dental care for the whole family. Visit JCK Hospital today, located in Roysambu, opposite Park University on Lumumba Drive, and experience dental care that's gentle, professional, and family-friendly. JCK Hospital, you first.
Ever noticed a dog or a cat skipping meals when it is unwell? Now that's not random. It is nature's reset button. When animals are sick, they do not eat. When should you eat? When should you take a break? Could your body be crying out for a break instead of a bite? Now stay tuned as we unpack fasting and the part it plays in this battle against chronic illness. Greetings and welcome to yet another transformative episode of the Healthy You program. Now this is your favorite health program on Faith Today Television. My name is Enock Kitondekijja, your host. Now I'm so honored to walk this journey of healing, health, and transformation with you. Thank you. Now, we cannot start this show minus recognizing our esteemed partners. Ladies and gentlemen, JCK Hospital is bringing you this program. Now, should you be looking for information concerning health, emergency services, you can reach them using that number on your screen. For the students, JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences is the place to start. Now, today's conversation is a continuation of what we started last week. We are talking about unmasking chronic illness. And the subject of our study today, we are merging ancient wisdom and modern day science. We are talking about fasting, the reset it does in our cells. Talking about insulin sensitivity, resistance, a lot more to unlock today. And to help us take us to the next level is an expert a gentleman who's now famous, frequently appearing on your screens every Tuesday because of the value he's offering. And because of the demand, we have him back again. He is the CEO and founder of Afya, dude. He has a great lot of experience in the medical field, and he's sharing his expertise freely. He's helping people reset their metabolism, people who have had dysfunctions in their health. He's back again. Now, but before I invite him to take us to that step of knowledge and insights, I'm aware of those of you who follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You do so well. We want to remind you to please subscribe, like this conversation, and if it makes sense, go ahead and share with as many people as you can. Thank you so much. Back to my guest. Joseph, we cannot get enough of you. So happy to have you today.
Thank you.
How was your week?
My week's been great.
Okay.
And we thank God for His mercies every day. Yes.
He says mercies every day. His mercies are new every morning. Now, in case you have any question concerning our discussion, make sure you use that number on your screen. Joseph, introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you very much, Enock and Faith Today TV, for this invitation. My name is Joseph Githinji, Ndiang'ui, as you have heard, and I help people reset their metabolic health and move on and become better as they, offer love to the world and produce more and more. So that's who I am. I run a program called Afya, a framework that helps you, become healthier and optimize your health through better lifestyle changes.
Better lifestyle changes. And we are really honored to have you here. We have gotten so much value from you. And I know there are people who are just tuning in for the first time just because they saw us promote this on Facebook or maybe somewhere on someone's WhatsApp status.
Yeah.
So we want to understand insulin resistance just to help, catch up. For those who are just joining in, to catch up.
Okay.
And how does someone feel? Yeah, they are experiencing it even when, how does someone know they're having insulin resistance even when they do not feel like they are having insulin resistance?
Thanks, Enock. So insulin resistance is what I would call a silent epidemic that we have. It's part of metabolic syndrome. Actually, metabolic syndrome is a combination of three conditions, like 3 or 4. Let me just mention them. Hypertension, high glucose, high triglycerides, that is cholesterol, in other words, and also high HDL, and something else that I'm quite for, and waste.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, you
the waste
last time.
Longer than normal
Yeah.
waste. So those 4, it's part of that. And actually, it used to be, the metabolic syndrome used to be called insulin resistance a few years back, but now we know better. So all those things, and we tend to say that you have insulin resistance if you have metabolic syndrome if any of those 5 things appear in you. 3, if you have any 3 of those, conditions or symptoms, then you have that syndrome. And why I'm calling it a silent pandemic is that in 2015, there was an uncommunicable diseases survey in Kenya. And in that survey in 2015, it showed nearly 65% of Kenyans had, those 3. And the biggest problem is that you don't have pain with all those things that I've mentioned. You are not going to feel any pain. So now what happens is that at the end of it, You only are going to know when you have complications. That's the time you get to realize you go to now see a doctor that you're actually unwell. That's the danger, and that's why we are calling it a pandemic. So how does it really arise? It comes about because of one single hormone, most of the times. We're not saying it's all the time. Remember, we work with, in medicine, we work with probabilities. So this is the highest probabilities that we are talking about. So most likely, because we have this hormone that serves all the cells, all our, I think, 3 trillion cells in the body, they use the insulin hormone. So this insulin hormone is the one that allows cells to access glucose. So once they access glucose, then they can do what they were created to do. But if there is any problem in how that access is, occurs, then you tend to have insulin resistance. And when that happens, then you can easily fall into higher levels of insulin as insulin fights to get into the cell, because that's what it uses. So you have what we call hyperinsulinemia. So it's silent. It's something that grows for many years. So you can imagine if you then end up having diabetes, that's where it starts. So that's one of the conditions. You can have hypertension. You can have obesity. So obesity is actually a symptom of insulin resistance. So at the beginning, you might have, for men, erectile dysfunction. Could be one of the things that you come about and you don't know. For women, you have infertility issues related to polycystic ovarian syndrome. You have Alzheimer's. When you have hyperinsulinemia for a long time. You have even a condition called sarcopenia, where you just lose your muscles. And sometimes we think, oh, you are growing old. So when you grow old, then your muscles start disappearing. No, it's not. And many other conditions that are related to insulin resistance. Even cancer. Some cancers are related to insulin and are mostly just because it's remember, insulin is also the one that tells your body to grow, because it's a storage hormone. So it tells your body to grow and also store. So yeah, in short, those are some of the things that you think about when you have insulin resistance, or some of the things that you can look at to know that you actually have insulin resistance. So some of the some of the markers are already mentioned.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
You already have. Waist circumference, which is more than 40 for men, more than 35 for women, then kind of you may be having that. Yeah. And then, of course, hypertension and the other related conditions. Yeah.
Wow. And I like when you give us a preamble of what we literally shared in the last 3 sessions. You've condensed it into a few paragraphs. Yeah. And I believe for our viewers, you now get the peril of what we are dealing with today. Insulin resistance happens and affects a number of things in our bodies. Today we get to hear a new term that even when you're losing muscles, it could be linked to insulin resistance. We're also learning that there is cancer somewhere, somehow. In our previous discussions, you learned that there are tests that these people can do to help you assess and ascertain that you could be having insulin resistance. Thank you for that background. But now I want us to engage another gear because today I know we have so many people who are going to be interested in learning about fasting. Yeah. We started the conversation last week. So today it's quite imperative to now connect. I don't know if you can condense it like you've done for the overview of insulin resistance, how fasting then helps in resetting insulin resistance improving sensitivity. You see, like we began, we learn from animals. When animals are sick, instinctively they stop eating. But I mean, humans, we rarely do that. Maybe help us get that connection in today's discussion.
Thanks, Enock. Let me just start from there. So the last time you went to the hospital and your relative was admitted, I'm sure now people are starting to get confused because you asked, is he eating? I think that's the biggest concern. You know, like when you don't eat, when you don't have an appetite, then you must be seriously sick. Well, just a theory. Could it be that it's just the body? That's how naturally we were created, so that then without even, using drugs, you can get back into a reset. Could it be? Maybe. So, and I like the example of animals. And when I had that, I mean, I really got amazed and discovered that, having grown up in the village and where we had cows, I mean, when a cow or any animal became sick, really, you didn't force it to eat. You just left it to, just cool down. And then most of the time, it would wake up after drinking water and all that. It would get better. Yeah. And after whatever treatment was being offered. But there was no feeding, unlike what we do with human beings. When we are sick, we tend to give people, you're asking them, just eat to get energy. But is that the correct thing? Not really. Because we need to obey our bodies. That's one of the basics of trying to get healthy. Always listening to your body. But back to insulin. So when you have insulin resistance, and we say we have high insulin, so it means you're talking about excess. And if you're talking about excess, then you tend to have excess fat. You tend to have excess glucose. Remember, when you have all that disconnection, you tend to have excess, weight and all that.
Yeah.
So really, fasting now then is about, reducing that. So you're trying to reduce the excesses, but you're doing it in the most natural way. You are allowing your body to, be itself. And when you allow the body to get into the default sections, then, or session, how it should be, then many of the hormones tend to come back to how they are supposed to work. And that's why fasting becomes very important when you have insulin resistance. But it's just part of the many other lifestyle changes that you make. But it's one of the tools that is normally ignored. So among the other tools that even in our program we emphasize, which include reducing your carbohydrates, like the processed carbohydrates, because it's the sugar. So you reduce the sugar because your body doesn't know how to handle sugar. In fact, when you give it sugar, all it knows is store it as fat. So you reduce that. Then increase protein, because proteins are always good. I don't know if our viewers remember that there is actually no disease related to excess protein, but there's a disease related to excess carbohydrate. So, so we emphasize on protein, so increase your protein, and then, of course, frequent fasting is very important. And here we are, I know many of our viewers are Christians, and when even Jesus said, fast and pray.
Yeah.
So they go together.
Yeah.
So in short, that's, it's very important. Fasting is part of the natural way of being healthy. Yes.
And you see, we learn that even in animals, instinctively,
yes.
they abandon food. That's something to learn. And for our viewers, you can tell this is getting deeper and better. We are connecting with you if you missed our previous session. We are learning a lot. Today, we also get to uncover that there is no a disease that is coming from too much protein. So protein is good. Yeah. The sugar we are pumping our bodies, the body does not need it.
No.
It wants to make rather its own.
Yes.
That is something that very insightful. I hope I'm not losing any of you. Today we want to connect with all of us, and you see that number on your screen. Use it to send in your question right away. The expert is here to clear the air and give you a value. And remember, this program is brought to you by Jessica Hospital. They are in Roysambu along Lubumba Drive, just next to Park University. All right. Daktari, today I am engaging a number of gears because we want to really get maximum value.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are born again, that one also encourages us that whatever you're sharing is relevant to our faith, and it's helping because we have so many people, believers who do the fasting and things like that. Little did we know that it's not just spiritual, spiritual connection or just helping us connect with the divine. But we learn that there's so much that happens in our body when we do fast. I want us to get an example from you because when you talk about pre-diabetes, you talked about high blood pressure, you talked about the PCOS, you talked about the erectile dysfunction, you know. So there are some that are really alarming.
Yeah.
Truly, does fasting help prevent all those? And if so, do you have an example, a testimony you could share with us from the people you've handled in your program?
Yes. It's always better when it is a testimony from, a person, the individual themselves, of course. And when we started, we said, I have a testimony of myself, where I had a waist that was way too long, and I did some fasting, just adjusting by reducing sugar and doing some fasting. Without any other, just sugar, reducing sugar, fasting, I reduced my waist by nearly, I wasn't so big, but by nearly 4 inches. I think that's quite a lot. And it had been concerned. I was concerned. At that point, I would feel sleepy all the time. And I used to do a lot of online work. You can imagine, brain, you are foggy, you are feeling tired, and just by practicing some fasting, that changed. And this was intermittent fasting. Yeah. Of course, at some point you engage longer fast, and maybe another day we can just discuss that. Fasting can be, just a few hours to many days. So just by engaging that, it makes, all the difference. Some of my clients, especially the ones who have diabetes type 2, of course, controlled fasting, because we mentioned that if you are already sick and you're on drugs, then you need to consult with your doctor. But the ones who have tried to add fasting into one of their tools, remember, it's holistic. So the ones who've tried that, they've given, examples of how they actually felt more energetic, which is counterintuitive, thinking that when you are fasting, you should feel, like less energy. But they actually feel more energy because the body gets a reset, so to say, in a sense. And then you are more attuned than, you are not overloaded. You are actually shedding your toxicity, you are shedding your excess sugar. So that happens,
Yeah. And it's a reset that is
Yes.
happening
Yes.
when someone fasts.
Yes.
We get to hear your personal story. That is very important because our viewers would love to know that it is possible,
Yeah.
because we don't want to just talk about things that you have not applied.
Yeah.
We hear that even you have diabetic patients who have responded, but also a disclaimer, you said it's important that someone is in touch with their doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, this is controlled. You don't just enter into it,
Yeah.
because there are people, surprisingly, who want quick fixes, just had this show and then they want to just, so it's important you get in touch with the experts, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very important. Allow me engage another gear,
Yeah.
because we're here to connect so
Yes.
many people who really can benefit from this. There are people who are really, we got feedback from, so many questions came in last time. There are people who struggle to fast.
Yeah.
There are people who try, but they still have these cravings.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who are on medications. What are the options available for them?
Fasting, I would say, is like walking a marathon. You don't wake up tomorrow and decide Nairobi marathon. No, you start small. So you start fasting there's some people who've never fasted. And actually, some of the people I talk to, the first thing you tell them about fasting, they are like, how? But we gave a very good example. Every day you fast because you are having breakfast. So you actually fasted. So everybody, in a way, is always fasting. So we're not talking of, it's not something new. So we're just trying to enhance that. So you start small, then you grow it. If you've never fasted. So you starting from, 12 hours or even the few hours that you have, then you grow it. 12 hours, take it 15, 18, 24, 36 hours, all the way to even, 20 days, even so many days. Yeah. So you can do that. And remember, here we are not talking of, we're talking of, the healthy fasting, where you are not, you are only probably just drinking water or drinking coffee. No calories. You're not adding any calories into your body. That's what we call a true fast, even a true health fast. Yeah. Something with that will not spike your insulin. Remember, our goal always, especially in our program and also in life generally, what we are trying to do is be as insulin sensitive as much as possible. And we said that it's only proteins and fats that do not spike your insulin. So you're trying to reduce things that can spike your insulin. Even when you go into a fast, you just, apart from the bigger goal of resetting your body so that it can use the resources that it already has, so that it can even have time to repair itself, because sometimes that's what we forget. I don't know whether our viewers have seen some quote that's been going around that when you are not working, you are repairing. I don't quite remember, but I don't know whether you've seen something like that. So even in our body, when you are not eating, then you are repairing and regenerating. So you can imagine then if you are eating all the time, your body will never have time to really rest, repair itself, clean itself and all that. So that's the beauty of, fasting.
Fasting.
Yeah.
And I think that one answers the question, because so many people would want to know, how do I get into it?
Yeah.
They go in church and they hear that we are doing 21 days fasting,
Yeah.
and then someone has not done it before.
Yeah.
They enter into it. Of course, the intent is good, but now the approach also matters. Having an expert walk the journey with you, I think it does not bring harm. Yeah. For our viewers, this is nothing but value we are getting from Mr. Joseph here. He's helping us understand how we do reset. The fasting you've been doing casually, I'm telling you, it is doing so much good in your health. We are learning about reset. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, I want to assure you we are going to answer your question. but also we're going to talk about now the actual way how you break a fast. Those of you who have been doing, 6 days dry fast, 21 days a week, whatever the number, as long as it is more than 72 hours, there is a way you can break that fast. And that is what we're going to talk about in the next segment of our discussion. We're also going to share that practical steps you can take to reset your insulin. You don't want to change the dial. In just 1 minute, we're coming back.
Every great journey begins with a single step. And at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, that step is met with warmth, guidance, and possibility. Here, learning goes beyond the books. It is where future healthcare heroes are nurtured by passionate instructors who believe in their potential. From theory to practical, our healthcare assistant students gain real-world skills in a real healthcare setting, preparing to serve, support, and make a difference from day one. Because at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, we don't just teach healthcare. We empower excellence. Admissions are now open for our May and June intakes. Step into your future today. Find us at Blessed House, 5th floor, opposite Garden City Mall. JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, empowering excellent healthcare.
Faith Today TV is here to make your brand outstanding. Worry not on where to advertise your business or your product. Call us on 0114 777 000 or email us on info@faithtodaytv.co.ke.
Hello there, my name is Enock. Taking care of your health should be a top priority. Looking at the various engagements that we have today, it is so easy to forget about our health, mental well-being. That is why we introduce to you the Healthy You Talk Show, a brand new show that is going to address matters concerning your health, nutrition, stress management, mental health, name it. We bring to you a wide range of experts who are going to be touching pertinent issues concerning our health. Tune in every Tuesday at 10 a.m. live on Faith Today TV.
Well, welcome back once again to our discussion. We are talking about chronic illnesses being unmasked. And we have an expert in the building who is giving us insights on how we can prevent illnesses, fight them with just some simple natural behaviors, a shift in how we do our life. Yeah. So we are getting a lot of value today. In case you have any question, this is the time when you send it in. This second part of our discussion, we're going to talk about now what you need to do when you're breaking 72 hours fast. You've been doing 1 week fast, 21 days. What's the approach? Yes, I know you're serving God, you're seeking God, but there is a way you can break your fast so that you do not mess up your body. Mr. Joseph, take us through.
Thanks, Enoch. We said that fasting is just one of the tools that you can use to reset your insulin resistance. So what we encourage you is have first a goal. because we all have different reasons into why we are getting into fasting.
Yeah.
And today then we are discussing the health goals. But even within the health goals, what exactly do you want to gain out of your fast? Could be you want to try and reverse some chronic, you have diabetes, you want to try and reverse that. Could be, you have some form of arthritis, or you think your stomach has, issues and you want to reset, so you want to stay for a time without eating. So that becomes very important to consider before you even start a fast. So then when you get into that fast, then you are going to then decide what kind of a fast you are going to take. And when you decide to take, the restrictions that we said, because a fast is just simply a time of not eating. And now we know that it's not just about what you don't eat, it's also when you eat that. And I think that's where fasting becomes important. So the question then you asked is...
when do you break and what do you eat?
Yes. So once you have your goals, when you break your fast when you, kind of feel that now you can't go on. That would be one of them. Or you've just decided, okay, I'm doing a 72-hour fast and my 72 hours are over. So depending on the length of the fast, remember insulin and glucose is very low. When you fast, you have very low, your insulin goes low and your blood glucose also goes very low. Actually, your body is now operating on the fats reserves that you have. You are actually breaking down, and that's how you lose weight naturally. You are actually using fats. There are some, and in a sense, they are called ketones. And people we actually have heard about keto diets. They're simply diets that, bring down your insulin, levels to low levels, and your glucose goes low level, and you start using ketones as your body. That's why you have keto diets. So how do you break your fast? Generally speaking, you want to break your fast in a way that will not suddenly spike your insulin or your glucose. So in other words, avoid anything that is going to spike your blood sugar. So here, you're talking of what's the foods that will not spike your sugar. So in other words, you're talking about proteins and fats. When I talk about proteins, think of eggs, think of different types of meats, think of vegetables that grow above the ground, not below the ground. I think that's a good guide, because normally those ones will have very low carbohydrate, and then they also have quite a lot of fiber. So what the fiber does is that it will slow down the release of any sugar that is in the food. So when it holds that, and then of course fiber also has other major benefits to the stomach, because it allows your bacteria to grow, the good bacteria to grow, regenerate, and generally improve your immune system, your health in big ways. So that is the guiding light. So always start with those things that will not spike your sugar. The other thing that you can even have would be things like soup, bone soup.
Bone soup.
Bone soup is very good because it has fat. It doesn't have and proteins. So especially in bone soup. So again, it will slowly allow your body, to wake up slowly, your sugar to rise. The idea is to rise, slowly, because if it rises suddenly, you can even have, you can feel very uncomfortable, in other words. So you need to do that slowly. So that would be what you would say would be a good way of breaking a fast. Slow, low carbohydrate foods, high protein and fats. Very helpful. Avocados, very good for opening a fast. Yes.
Wow. Avocado.
Yes.
Bone soup. Eggs.
Yeah.
Beef.
Yes.
People have been demonizing beef for a long time. And I'm happy that you have given us the liberty to eat our beef. How is pork? I hope I'm not spiking people's insulin right now.
These are just part of, it's just proteins.
Yeah.
So it is what you like. If whatever meat you like is as good.
Yeah.
So if you don't like meat, is as well good. So try and have more, protein, more proteins for plants protein if you don't like meat.
Yeah.
But it's really the worst meat, the way we say we demonize, is meat that is not natural, processed. Because when it's processed, then other things are added. And the things that are added in processed stuff, most likely are things to make them sweet. So it's sugar. And it's sugar that we are fighting against. Sugar, salts, excess. That's what you put.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the tricky part. Yeah.
So, and I like it when you say you have a framework, the freedom walk, because I know there are people who could be allergic to certain kinds of foods. And I know you have an approach to that when these people come to you, right?
Yes.
That's good. I remember last time you talked about uji is not a good way to break your fast.
Yeah.
And then the other foods?
Uji, of course, bread, cakes.
Yeah, all those.
They have high carbohydrate.
Yeah.
And especially they are processed already.
Yeah.
That's why even uji is not, if you realize, uji without sugar, it doesn't taste very nice. So it has to be, added other things so that it can taste nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fermented foods generally, even fermented uji is actually better because fermented naturally, not added chemicals that will make the tastes like it's fermented, because that's the danger. The old, tradition of fermenting, and I don't know if people still remember how fermentation is done.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is good. And also fermented vegetables, all those fermented foods, good for you. And they can easily break the fast. Yes.
Good. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's very insightful. I hope our viewers are getting value from this discussion. And I'm just waiting for your question. I hope you have sent it in. Before we engage another gear, we want to understand, someone asked a question here, is fasting okay for women during their periods? I don't know what you have to say about that.
Thank you for that question. Fasting, it depends on, first of all, remember the goal. Why is she fasting? If you're fasting for just health, that's a time that you are really, you really want to be more careful. So it's not, you can fast, but you don't have to fast the long fasts.
Yeah.
Just, the 12, 13, 15 hours, that's okay. But not longer than that. Longer than that would not be very good for you.
Very helpful.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
All right. Another person asked a question here, and we are picking off from what the overflow we had last week. Mm-hmm. Someone asks, can I do fasting while working out, or is that too much stress on the body?
The scientists who've been doing research say that it's actually beneficial to always work out when you are fasted, because the body somehow tend to pick better when you're in fasted state. I don't know, I was reading somewhere that even the marathoners, they tend to do it when they are fasted. Yeah, it's actually better, and it is not harmful to do it when you are fasted. Yeah, so because you are just using your reserves, so it's okay, and your body is already adjusted, well adjusted. Yeah, the only problem can be if your body is not adjusted. Remember, we said even before you get into a fasting, a comfortable fasting phase, you need to teach your body to use its own fat, because the body does not like to use its fat, because fat is in the refrigerator, in the freezer. Is the freezer is like the freezer. So it likes to use what is just available. Available. So what your brain or your body tells you is eat, not break down the fat. So it tells you to eat. Sometimes you're eating, but it's just in the mind, It's not really that you are hungry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite very insightful. Right, I think that will take us now to the question that I believe most viewers wanted to hear about the practical steps. If you could help us identify those 3 practical steps that someone can do to help them prevent these chronic illnesses through your approach of insulin reset and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Enock. That's very important, because at the end of the day, this is what really, as we say, is where the rubber meets the road. You first of all need to know, where are you at in terms of your health journey? How are you feeling? Because the first thing is, am I feeling like I'm okay? So you know yourself better. Even as a viewer, you know yourself better. So that's where you start. Then, if you don't measure, we say you can't monitor it. If you can't. Yeah. What do we say? You
cannot. You manage what you can't measure.
Yes. You cannot manage what you can't measure. Yeah. So you want to manage. So you start with the basics. If you're not going to the lab, you can even start by looking at your waist and seeing if it is okay. You can even see how many hours you sleep without interruptions, or without, with interruptions you mean, do you even go to the loo, because those are the interruptions that we talk about. Yeah. When we wake up, how do you feel? What's your sleep levels? So that's some of the things to consider. Of course, your weight, generally speaking. So you can do that. You go to the lab. Then you do the basics. Just get to know what's your fasting blood sugar, what's your fasting cholesterol levels. And when you say cholesterol, here we are just thinking of, the high density cholesterol, because the good
fat,
the good
and
cholesterol.
The bad fat. Yeah.
You are thinking of the triglycerides.
Yeah.
Triglycerides are just also part of the fats that you measure, but now they show how you are breaking, how your liver is, the fat is functioning. It's part of how much fat the body is producing, because the more it is, the more likely that you have excess fat. So triglycerides there. Then you have to check your blood pressure, because it's a big indicator on how your health is. Then, and why that is important, maybe let me just, go back to that. Why that is important for you to go to the lab is that insulin resistance does not only occur in people who are, like fat, because that's what sometimes we assume. Not all people who are fat are actually unhealthy or they are insulin resistant. There's quite a good number of people who are obese. Let me call it obese.
Let me help you with the term.
Yes.
They say thin outside, fat inside.
Yes, so we have those two.
Yes.
So there are people who are very, they look very lean.
Yeah.
But when you go to check the lab,
Yeah.
you actually discover that you could be having fat, a lot of fat inside.
The bad fat.
The bad fat. So it's always important to check, to have a lab test. And that's why annual tests are very important. So that's how you start. So once you know that, then you start implementing strategy. You have strategies of first reducing all those bad numbers or maintaining the good numbers that you have. How do you do that? Doing what we call insulin smart eating or insulin smart living. And insulin smart living is simply eating things that will not spike your insulin, then eating things that will doing things that are going to improve your muscles, exercising, eating the right proteins, eating the right fats, and generally managing to maintain ensuring that stress and inflammation is reduced.
When you talk about inflammation, we lose so many people. But I'm happy those are some of the terms you break down for people who come actually for help. And for our viewers, you can tell he has given us the best approach, the 3 key steps that you need to take for you to start this journey. And he says awareness is very key. When you go to the hospital, they're able to do those checks, like the ones you do at your service. These are helping you understand where you are, so that you have a goal, right? You talked about that. I think that's very important. And then watching what you eat. You talked about the smart
insulin smart eating.
Insulin smart eating.
Yes.
Okay, so that means there's a wrong way to eat and there's a good way to eat. So all that is something that can help us understand. Then you begin the journey. And I know we cannot get enough of you concerning this data, but before we wind up, would you mind us taking us through the Freedom Walk? You talk about that quite fondly. I don't know if you could give us what can someone expect, when they come to your place.
Oh, thank you. So if you join the Afyatude, simply Afyatude, as you can tell, is Afya attitude. So you get an attitude of better health. So what we simply do is align you to those 3 key things that we said. So you know yourself, you know your numbers, then we help you apply those strategies sustainably. When I say sustainably, is because we empower you to make the right choices for yourself. We don't prescribe to you that, these are the things to do, but we help you to choose the right things, because when you are involved, then you are likely to make sustainable changes. We hold you to account. Actually, we are your guide towards better health. So we hold you to account in that approximately 90 days, and we help you reverse your insulin resistance. If you have insulin resistance, or if you don't have insulin resistance, we help you optimize, health, and make sure that you keep off from getting these common chronic illnesses. So in a big way, then we are preventing illnesses just by lifestyle, not by offering you, any types of drugs. Of course, we are not saying there are no drugs, but we are saying key to all our life is that there are many, the biggest problem that we have is that people don't know why they do the choices they have. So we are telling them, when you have that mindset of smart insulin choices in life, then you tend to have better insulin management. You can imagine if you made fasting part of your, of your life. That's like normal. Then your body will always be in an optimal position, because It will always be repaired. And you are never going to get some of these illnesses that really affect us. And I would even give you an example. You had the last time there was a pandemic, COVID. Most of the people who suffered are the ones who had metabolic illnesses. Their outcomes were not as good as those people who didn't have. So why can't we reverse that? Why can't we prevent that? And we have tools to do that. And these are lifestyle tools. So that's what we do at Afya. So we will change that, and we will help you actually get better. And you are not, if you sustainably do it, you won't, go back and say that you
still have issues.
You are stalling. No,
Yeah.
It becomes part of your life,
Okay.
and you can actually even become a specialist
And
in
become-
even helping others.
I like that. I've not
Yes.
heard that before.
Yes.
Because mostly when people go to hospital,
Yeah.
they just come up with, just for solutions
Yeah,
tailored
yeah.
to their need. And
Yes.
that is all.
Yeah.
But when you are going to talk about now the attitude, changing
Yes.
someone's mindset,
Yeah.
and then giving them a long-term plan that can help them do the reset and the prevention,
Yeah.
I think that's what our viewers need to hear.
Yes.
So do you mind giving your parting shots right now?
Thank you, Enoch, and to our viewers.
Yes.
I would just like to let you know that chronic illnesses, and especially hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance, we've talked about how bad it is, but the most beautiful thing is that it is reversible through lifestyle changes. And at Afya, you can reach to us, and we can actually guide you into better health, helping you to become healthier just through those few lifestyle changes. So thank you very much, and you're welcome.
Number?
Oh, okay, my number is 0739 140078. You can also reach us, you can get to our website at afya-watch.com. You can do that. You can also see some of the resources we have at insuliniq.com, and you'll also see my profile there. So yeah, thank you very much.
And actually, thank you so much for the information you have given us. These sessions have been very informative, and we are really grateful to have you on Faith Day Television. Thank you so much. And for our viewers, we want to appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in consistently. There are those names that I already see coming up, asking questions and learning. I hope you are changing your life and the people around you. We get to have information that is going to even make us specialists. That is something quite interesting. So today's discussion has been very informative. We learned that the illnesses that we are experiencing today do not start from the hospital when you get that diagnosis, and not really. They begin simply from how we eat, the plate of food. What we take in is what is really affecting. And so you learn that if you can do a few changes, lifestyle changes, do follow what he calls the insulin sensitive eating, it can help a long way. We have also learned that timing your food, the time you have your meals, the breaks you take are quite very important, because if you don't, then you don't give the body enough time to heal itself. And healing is possible. We have seen animals do that. We can learn from them. You will not die when you don't fast. But also it's important that you get clarity, you get guidance from your health care provider. Very, very important. Again, this program is brought to you by JCK Hospital. You want to become aware of what you are suffering from or you're going through before you go to Afya, the experts who are going to now reset you and give you a long-term plan. JCK Hospital can do that test for you. So we have that number again. Contact them when you have any issue, any emergency. They're right there at your service. And again, we also emphasize that the doctors do their job. Yes, they are an extension of God's healing hand. It is God who heals, and we cannot wait to celebrate your testimony, your miracle, wherever you're watching us from. Again, my name is Enock Kitondekijja, and you have been watching The Healthy You. Until we meet next time, stay proactive, stay informed, and stay healthy. God bless you.
At JCK Hospital, we understand that a child's smile is priceless. That's why our dental services are tailored with care and compassion to ensure your little ones have the best experience possible. From gentle checkups to specialized treatments, our pediatric dental experts create a safe and friendly environment, making every visit fun and stress-free. Because we believe healthy habits start young. And for the grown-ups, we've got you covered too, with top-notch dental care for the whole family. Visit JCK Hospital today, located in Roysambu, opposite Park University on Lumumba Drive, and experience dental care that's gentle, professional, and family-friendly. JCK Hospital, you first.